my favorites probably will be the early bird gets the worm. For now, right now, because we're going to keep looking at some, but right now, my favorite is the early bird gets the worm, and the complete idiom for that says the early bird gets the worm, but the second mouse gets the cheese. So now the next one we'll be looking at this morning is blood is thicker than water. So now most of all of us know that this idiom means that relations through blood, as in family, is a stronger bond than the relationships you form with friends. In reality, the saying means the complete opposite. The original saying is blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb. This originated during times of war with the purpose of motivating soldiers to create a brotherhood that's stronger than the one formed at birth. The phrase actually means that the blood spilled during battle, going through hard times together, connects people in a deeper way than anything else. Those who are willing to die together for their common goals and values are beyond brother. So blood of the covenant is thicker than water of the womb. Yeah. So yeah.
So anytime I hear blood is thicker than water, in fact, I think that's the third idiom today that I would hear the second part of it, and I would be like, really? What happened? So right now, when I hear blood of the covenant is thicker than water of the womb, I'm like, oh, okay. I never saw that coming. Yeah. It caught me off guard. Because I would often shout, blood is thicker than water. I think we need to go and look at all the origins of what it is we've been saying this entire time.
And somehow I also blame our parents. Like, why? Like,
well, so
they probably didn't know
exactly
better.
I mean, it is what you know that you would.
That is true.
Sometimes we spread ignorance.
Actually, unknowingly.
Because that's all that we know. That's all the scope of what we have. So blood of the covenant is thicker than water. I think that this was probably the best way to get the soldiers to work together as a team. Because it gives you the impression that, see, we may not know each other from anywhere, but by blood on this minefield, this war ground, this battleground, we need to.
But don't you think is a tad bit manipulative? Don't you think? It's just a tiny bit, just a tad bit manipulative.
May we not see war?
I've been no. They say you should even go and sign up.
Now, why I said may we not see war is this. I want to imagine that, of course, we've seen movies where there was battle and blah, blah, blah. You would see people that you genuinely thought were invincible. Maybe nothing can touch this one. Okay, I'm even taking it too far. Have we not had experiences where we have friends, maybe we lost a friend to the cold hands of death or something, and you keep questioning, like, really, did that just happen? Like, this person was invincible. Like, what really happened? And so if you're talking about what happened back then, they just needed to ensure that you had your fellow soldiers back. Regardless of what's happened, you have to have. So manipulative, if it was manipulative, at least it achieved the purpose. You have to have your I don't want to say friend, because I mean on the war front it was war. Even if you had friends in there, you had to also detach from your emotions so that it doesn't break you too hard when maybe they are hit accidentally by a shelling or something and they die. So I like the fact that it was applicable to the situations of war, and we are the ones who have misused it over time. Blood is thicker than water. Blood is thicker than water. So we have misused it so bad that you now see people in. Maybe you have a position now, and you have a sibling or a cousin who is trying to get into just trying to get a job, but you know that this cousin, this sister, it's not even qualified for the job, but because blood is thicker than water,
you can't put it.
And that's half. That's the biggest bulk of Nigeria's problem, as far as I can see it.
Sentiment.
Yes, that sentiment of blood is thicker than water. So you see people encouraging nepotism. You see people encouraging, oh, let's pass, just it's my family, put him there.
Yeah.
Without thinking about, can this person handle the job? Can this person do it well? And that's half of the problems that we have. If we're able to detach ourselves from our emotions, I think this blood is thicker than blood of the covenant is thicker than
the water
of the womb. I think, you may be right about the manipulation, but I think that it was also a way to get the soldiers to detach.
Yeah, no, that was just...
Yeah, to detach. And then just imagine if your brother is fighting for the other side.
Yeah, wow.
And you're a soldier.
You have to kill him.
So I think it runs deep if you look at it very well. It's about you being able to also detach from what you think is a bond that attaches rather.
Like, for instance, detaching from the ideology of nepotism, for instance, is that what you mean? Yeah.
Detaching from that.
Yeah.
So if you're a public figure, for example, you've been held in trust by the people to direct affairs and all of that. You should no longer think for yourself or for your family members. You should think for that collective assignment that you've been given. So we should know how to detach from bonds that seem to bind. Because, have you not seen brothers that are at loggerheads with each other and their backs are turned against each other?
P square.
Okay. I didn't say that. Their backs are turned against each other, but you see two people who are not, they're not brothers, they're just friends, and my gosh,
that's where I was going to come in, the angle I was going to come in on this particular idiom. I find it interesting that, for instance, people they have closer relationships or more tight bonded relationships with people outside their family.
Yes.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. What I think can be a problem is when there is no friendship, for instance, between siblings or between parents and child.
Yeah.
It's not like it's nice. It would be nice if there is a friendship, but I don't think there has to be a friendship. Actually, I think it is. It's going to sound like I'm contradicting myself, but I'll break it down. I don't think it is. I think it is important for there to be friendship in a family, but I don't think it is necessary. Because regardless, whether you're friends with our family members or not, they're family members, you have to love them. Regardless, you have to just...
You don't get to choose them.
You don't get to choose them. That's really what, you get to pick and choose your friends, but you don't get to choose your family. So there are people in your family who you genuinely don't like, but they are part of your family, so, you have to accept them. So, that's where, and that's why I completely agree with this frame that blood is actually thicker than the water of womb. The blood of covenant is thicker than the water of womb. It takes a lot more than just the water of the womb for two people to really love each other. It takes experiences, it takes memories, it takes forgiveness. Forgiveness is actually a major thing. There are people in your family, like a brother, sister, or father, that may have wronged you, and you just you don't forgive them, but you just move on, and that has defined the relationship between both of you, because you see him in a particular light and maybe he sees you in a particular light. But then with a friendship outside, that's that an error, a mistake, has been done, but then you find a way to forgive each other and you move on. That relationship is a lot stronger, than, for instance, the relationship with the father or the mother that is not based on forgiveness. So I completely agree with this.
I have a theory about family members.
Okay.
I believe that the kind of relationships you forge outside are primarily determined by the kind of family members you have. Inside. So you have a sibling who is a hothead, you have another sibling who is a cool-headed person, you have a sibling who can fight for Africa, you have another sibling who cannot lift a finger, and you would meet all of these different characters in different people every day. But half of the time, we don't even think about it like that. You're like, but when you get home, you chuck it down. Yeah. Because it's family. Yeah. You just chuck it down.
Actually,
let's just...
That's true. Family is actually a performance. Okay.
I'm not having that conversation with you.
Okay, let's move on.
All right. On the next one we have is great minds think alike. This is my second best idiom today.
I just saw the other half. Oh my God.
Now, people love this a lot because of what it means. Especially when you look at it from face value. But just because a mass of people agree on a particular subject does not totally absolutely mean that they have the right answers. Facts often differ from opinions, no matter how strongly you feel about it. This is why the complete version of the saying is, great minds think alike, but fools seldom differ. You must have seen this in the rise of certain groups and movements based only on feelings and not the truth. People do things sometimes just because others are doing it, not because it is right or that they have an understanding of it. Let me land on this. So, gosh, I hate the fact that all my life I have used this idiom without knowing the second half. I never even imagined that
Really?
there's a second half.
Really?
Now, this is proof.
Yeah.
This idiom is actually proof that the fact that you've known something all your life does not mean that it is always true. Or that you'll always be right.
Yeah.
Because circumstances change, people differ, opinions are contradictory, you have different, like there are 1,010 things to consider before you say, okay, this is right or this is balanced, as it were. And then if you think that, so if you and I right now seated on the show are spewing ignorance because probably we didn't read up or we don't know, we just came on air, we didn't prepare, we didn't plan anything, and we just said some very nasty irrational stuff, which of course we know we can't do because but I'm just giving an hypothesis and we are here talking very sensible things, and some other people are in-house and the first thing they're saying is, we heard it on TV now. Yeah, we heard it on TV now, so it must be true, without verifying, without fact-checking, without doing anything to cross-check if it is actually true. Then, you know, that's really what happens. That's what happens that causes mass hysteria or the mob reaction, so to speak. So because one person seems to be the authority figure, they say one thing and you don't question it. You don't try to verify. You don't try to understand where the person is coming from or why that statement has been made. And you just run with it like someone who is running with a vision, and you start spreading it everywhere. And before you know it, everybody is upset about something that is probably not true. And you realize that, great minds think alike. You know that thing that we also say, two heads are better than one. Now I'm going to look for the second half of that.
You know, that's literally what I was thinking. Like, man, there's so many idioms I need to.
I'm going to look for the second half of that idiom because we have to actually be serious now about these idioms. Now, if you say great minds think alike, if you assume that because 5 people have confirmed it, they may be confirming the wrong thing.
Actually.
And so for them to have said, fools seldom differ. If 5 fools come together to agree on one thing, it will sound like great minds came up with something. It's the power of agreement, really. It's the power of cohesion. It's the power of being able to, you know, pull things together.
And that encourages other people to accept that information because multiple people have accepted the information.
And the unfortunate thing about information is that if information, if not properly disseminated, would travel differently. If I whisper something in your ear and I say, I want bananas, and Bolade comes and I say whisper to her, and you just say, oh, she's craving bananas. No, I want.
I
didn't say I'm craving. Now, Bolade runs with craving and tells maybe Kemi that, oh, Mrs. said she ate banana yesterday and she wants more today. Added information.
The message
exactly. So at the end of the day, by the time the last person hears that word, the last person might only probably hear bananas.
But you know that it is one of my problems with you and Omar Bolade's favorite social media app, which is Twitter.
Excuse me.
Let me finish, please.
So why did you start that? You see, when you premise your statements as an attack.
I'm attacking you? Really?
Yes.
I've not even attacked you yet. Can I attack you first?
Okay,
Let me attack you, please.
Go ahead.
Look, what I mean is, like, you know, on Twitter Spaces, and for good reason, governments around the world have been worried about misinformation, dissemination of misinformation on the social media spaces. Now, the social media spaces are perfect because there is this form of free press that we all enjoy on social media. And what makes it even more fun is that, for instance, ImpactTV is on Twitter as ImpactTV, Ade Oyepo is on Twitter as Ade Oyepo, Yemsigbele is on Twitter as Yemsigbele. So you are an authority on your own. Impact as a media channel are an authority on their own, and I myself, I'm an authority of information on my own. So all three of us are all three authorities of information. Now, you know, especially with the whole COVID-19, and this happened a lot with the COVID, with the 5G, especially with the origins of where the COVID came from, a lot of information that was not true. And, you know, Donald Trump really understood the power of the dissemination of misinformation with his administration, and he used Twitter a lot, you know, to actually do those things. So, and that is one authority figure that is up there. Now imagine like the mass, like what you're just talking about, like, you know, the mob, for instance, the mob conversations on, they have now decided that, okay, this is the truth about this particular conversation, and this is all what we're going to fight for, only to realize later down the line that some information was missing. And now, you know, okay, for instance, like Izu, we took a story last year of a guy in America who committed suicide, right? And a girl came out and claimed that he raped her, and Izu was like, I've never done that, I'll never do that, blah blah blah. But everybody on Twitter, or majority of people on Twitter, you know, that followed that, were part of that conversation, were calling him all manner of names, like Izu, you're a rapist, Izu, you're a die, to the point so that this Izu kid took his own life. He shot himself in the head because he couldn't take it anymore. And then we later realized that actually the girl was lying. You know, so it's one thing I find wrong with social media, especially with Twitter. I'm sorry that I have to say this, especially with Twitter.
Why are you sorry?
There is a lot, because it's, you know,
you intended to say it. You don't have to be sorry. I mean, you wanted to say it.
I like being on the show with you. I like your energy.
Don't get comfortable.
Clearly, I shouldn't. Wow, okay. I like this.
Okay, so for me, I feel like it's not just restricted to Twitter. Okay. Now, the only reason why it looks like, oh, it's Twitter is because initially, if you look at the trend with Facebook, when Facebook came to Nigeria, Facebook was the headquarters of all sorts of things.
For that.
Yeah, you understand? Yeah, okay. So it's not restricted to Twitter. I think people will always be people.
Okay.
Now, this is where I'm going with that. You would realize that even media houses, quote and unquote, that are meant to be the ones saying no, let's do a fact check. Yeah. Will be the first to break some. We've seen some media houses break some very false news, even on Twitter, that it is Twitter people that say, no, that's not true. So I'm saying, what I'm saying in essence is, it is not the function of the social media. It's your phone pressing itself.
It's people.
It's people behind the keypads. So it is now a societal problem. It is not social media. Yeah. It is the fact that social media has helped to amplify the voices that before now we probably would not have heard. Yeah. Because of course they were spewing ignorance. But now that there's social media, everybody thinks that they have access to say whatever it is that they want to say. And I'm not saying nobody should say whatever, but you are responsible as an individual for what you believe. Yeah. You're responsible. I don't take a story on Twitter and run with it. I will first check it. I will call in friends to say, do you know about this? Where else did you hear it from? What happened? I will not run with a story I find on Twitter.
Fact checking is very important.
And if we all don't get to that point where you decide what is true for you and what is not true, we would always become the collection or the assembly of fools that would think like, oh, they are great minds, but actually,
assembly of fools, my goodness. Okay, so the next one is you can't have your cake and eat it too. This
I've never
particular
liked this
one, people,
I have never liked it.
I've
never liked it.
I feel like we have not agreed on what it actually means. Okay, so the actual saying is you can't eat your cake and still have it too. The only problem with this quote is that the original makes a lot more sense linguistically and logically than the one that's been shared around all the time. It's pretty much boils down to a choice you have to make. You're either going to enjoy your cake or keep it. If you eat your cake, then you no longer have it. The only reason anyone should ever buy a cake is if they plan to eat it or give someone to eat it. Otherwise, just buy yourself something else. Like, we have not agreed. Like, we have not agreed.
I know it as you can't eat your cake and have it.
Yes. Yeah.
But then some people said, oh, no. You can't have your cake and eat it.
But both are correct. Yeah, so I remember I was doing some research with the producer Ruka Suleiman on this particular idiom, and we found this very interesting. So you can't eat your cake and still have it.
Let's just scrap the entire idiom.
Yeah, I know. I agree with you. I agree with you.
Let's deal it. What's the point? Let's deal it.
Yeah, this thing might just cause the next world war. We need to be careful. Like, we can't agree with it.
Let's just deal it.
So, I feel like you can eat your cake and have it too, though. I feel like you. I feel like, maybe
No, you have to explain that first. That thing you said about eating your cake and having it.
I feel like you can.
You eat half of the cake and have the remaining half.
I feel like you can.
How now?
Yeah, that's one way. That's one way now. But I guess the idiom is basically saying that once you eat your cake, you obviously it's gone and you can't have it again. So it's maybe talking about opportunity and all of these kind of things.
No, I think the interpretation we've always attached to this idiom is you can't. There's a Yoruba adage that says. Oh goodness, I remembered it now. I was going to say it in Yoruba and then interpret it. But basically, that adage says that you can't eat. Oh goodness, it's you can't eat your cake and have
Yoruba?
it. I know it, but it just disappeared right now.
Okay.
It's you can't eat your cake and have it, but in a more detailed form in Yoruba. So it helps you to understand that you can't, for instance, you can't take full. What's the word now? Advantage of an opportunity, and still come back and complain that, oh, you want another one, when you probably did not use that one well, or you probably didn't do the right thing at the right time.
Interesting.
I'll remember. It came and it bounced. Like, for some reason, it left. I think that you can't eat your cake and have it is you can't have wasted your entire time faffing around, doodling, doing nothing. And then you expect that at the end of the day,
returns will come.
From where? I mean, empty hands can't be blessed.
Yeah.
So I don't understand what you are looking for. So someone was telling me one time that sometimes we often look at the scriptures as, just look at it from only the spiritual angle. But actually, they are instructional when you break it down. So this idea of not eating your cake, you can't eat your cake and have it, is basically about do what you need to do. So that you get the best returns. You can't plant cocoa and reap
cassava.
It's a principle of reaping and sowing. Yes, if you might plant cocoa and then still get cassava, but you still reap your cocoa. Now the cassava might just be a gift from somebody who thinks you are enterprising enough and says, let me just add cassava to your harvest. But the cocoa that you planted with your own hands cannot overnight turn to cassava unless you don't know your farm or somebody came to uproot your cocoa
and they put cassava
there in the middle of the night.
That would be so harsh.